Today we will be making very special butter cookies. I began this project thinking back to my childhood days of eating out of that blue tin, the Danish butter cookies that came with like 6 different kinds of cookies, and my favorite one was the one with swirls. Actually, hold on. I researched it. It started out as me trying to replicate these, and then I remembered kind of how commercial they were, and they were kind of like dry and crumbly, but like very addictive. So I wanted that commercial aspect of it, but also make it better. Then I remember that when I went to Spain and went to this nun cookie place. I guess you call it a convent. I went to this convent and they sell these cookies made by nuns there, and one of the cookies was like a pastas de té. It's like a tea cookie. They had these anise seeds inside and it was delicious. So I wanted to mash the two together, and today I'm bringing you brown butter cookies with fennel seeds. It's actually gonna be a super simple recipe. I didn't exactly want the typical shortbread for this butter cookie recipe. I wanted something with a little bit more of a toothsome bite. So we're gonna go ahead and brown some butter and use that melted butter today. But before we start that, I'm gonna chop up some fennel seeds. Fennel seeds and anise seeds. They're very similar in flavor, but fennel seeds are a little bit weaker in flavor. Anise seeds can be a little bit punchy, and if you're not crazy about that licorice taste that they give off, fennel seeds are a better way to go. Also really good for your digestive tract. Is that too gnarly to say on camera? No. Fennel seeds are actually quite amazing in sweets because, especially if you're using butter, it kind of diffuses that strong licoricey aspect of it, and you add sugar to it. Now we're ready to brown some butter. You have to be really observant when you're browning butter. It can go from just clarified butter to burnt really quickly. We're gonna take 6 tablespoons of butter, plop it into a medium saucepan over medium heat, and just watch it. We're just going for a very lightly browned butter. You can see there's some dark brown bits on the edge of the pan, and then it's foamy, very foamy on top. I've pulled it from the heat already. If I swish the pan, you can see that there is a brown layer of it. Those are milk solids that have caramelized. They're really hard to see, but if you swish your pan enough and you look right in the middle of the pan, you'll see the brown. I want to stop it there. Some people go really dark on their brown butter, but I don't want that much of a caramelized, toasty taste. We're gonna toss in some fennel and vanilla and salt. Tossing in the fennel right now will toast it a little bit because the butter is still super hot, which will release some of the aromas and the fragrances of the fennel. Oh my God, do you smell that? It smells like butter cookie already. Then we're gonna go in with powdered sugar, and we're gonna whisk it until it's completely smooth. And then this recipe does not use whole eggs, it only uses egg yolks. And that's because whole eggs have egg whites, and egg whites have a lot of moisture and also protein. And that kind of makes the cookie a little bit denser and chewier, and I don't really want that for this cookie. And then we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of cream, and that helps to add a little bit moisture back in and makes the cookie just the right level of moist. We're gonna add in the flour, and that's it. I'm going to use my scale again because scale is king. Make sure you have a towel underneath your pot so that you don't burn your scale. It's about 3/4 cup of confectioner's sugar. I think the fennel really adds something, you know? It makes it smell more like a grown-up butter cookie. It just adds that dimension of like extra vanilla, but straight from the woods. Except vanilla isn't in the woods, it's from rainforests, I think. I don't know everything, guys. You wanna make sure that the pan isn't scorching hot anymore because we don't wanna cook the yolks when we dump them in. So if your pan does feel a little bit hot to the touch, I would just let it set aside for 5 to 10 minutes until it's cool enough to touch. Or if you want to do more dishes, be my guest, transfer this whole mixture into a glass bowl and continue the rest of the process. But I'm lazy and I don't want to wash more dishes. So we're gonna wait. And we're gonna add in the yolks, and we're just gonna keep mixing them until the mixture comes together and looks completely emulsified. It might break a little depending on the temperature of your egg yolks and the temperature of your mixture. So we're just gonna pour this in and keep whisking until it looks shiny, smooth, and delicious. You should feel the whisk getting harder to move in your pot. That's good. That means your mixture it's nice and ready to go. Next, we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of cream and mix it until it's smooth again. And your final ingredient, 1 cup of all-purpose flour. So I know some cookie recipes call for you mixing until the ingredients are just combined and that some floury bits are okay. For this recipe, because we're not using egg whites and there's not much else liquid going on, we're not too afraid of gluten development. There is that cream, so you don't want to like go crazy mixing it, but I don't want to see any dry spots. You know when the dough is done if you can lift it with your spatula off in one piece like this. Make sure you have your oven preheated to 350 and grab some trays and parchment. And I'll meet you back here with some tips. Chelsea, I can't decide. Which tip do you want? This will make like a wider cookie that has less ridges and looks a little more luxurious in design. And these are just too skinny. What do you think?
Probably that one.
Okay. You called it. We'll see. We'll see how you chose.
Oh, they look like poop. It's my fault.
They won't. They'll look beautiful. So just grab yourself a tall glass so that you have somewhere to situate your piping bag into. It'll hold it in place while you pour in your batter. I just like to make sure you squeeze the tip in so that it's secure. Going into the glass. Pour some of the lip of the bag around you. And in goes our dough. Ooh, look at our new pan. It's delish. Christmas present, you know? That tip wasn't the right tip. It's like really thin slits on the star design, so it kind of shreds up your dough a lot especially because of the fennel seeds. They kind of get caught in the gaps. So we just dump the dough out. It's a really easy dough to rebag.
This is why you don't ask me for my opinion.
This is probably also why I should have tested my designs a little bit better before this video. Let's see how this one looks. You ready? Mm-hmm. That's pretty good. Yay! Let's go with this one. So go open star design, not closed star design. Learn from my mistakes, you're welcome. So if you don't like the shapes of these, you can just kind of push them out with your fingers and make it rounder. If you like more perfection, it's really an easy dough to work with. So it'll take a lot of abuse, as you see. That one's gonna be an ugly one. That's okay. It's gonna be 10 to 12 minutes. I think 11 is a sweet spot for me, but keep an eye on them. You don't want them to be too brown. You want them to be just barely golden on the outside. Good luck. 12 minutes have passed. I believe I smell the cookies, and when you smell them, you know it's time. Just lightly golden on the outside, and the top still looks quite blonde. But if you go ahead and give a poke, it should be just dry to the touch and a little bit bouncy. You don't want to overbake these. I mean, if you're into that kind of like sandy shortbread texture, you can overbake them a little bit and that'll give you a drier, crisper cookie, but I love it when the cookie is still slightly just a little bit moister in the middle. So we'll let these cool completely, and then we'll grow our winter coats with mouthfuls of butter cookies. This went through 12 batches of testing and I'm a little bit butter-headed right now. I can't really think clearly. My digestive tract is still working through all of that fat. But it's time to taste the final product. It's got nice specks of brown butter. It's got nice little specks of fennel seed. I'm hoping it'll be a blast. Ooh, did you hear that? It's got a slightly crunchy outside, and the inside is a little bit more doughy. It's just a little denser. It's still airy. This isn't a showstopper cookie. This is like the girl next door. She's friendly, she's nice, and she's here to stick around for you for the rest of your life.
Like butter sticks to your inside?
Mm-hmm. You get the little crunch from the fennel seeds that we cut up earlier, and that brown butter, it doesn't steal the show. It's just playing nicely with all the other flavors in there. It kind of melds with that vanilla extract that we put in there for that creamy, old school, classic childhood taste profile, and it just feels like a comforting butter cookie. Let me know in the comments below if you tried this recipe, if you liked it, how you think about fennel seeds, and let me know what you want me to make next. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment. I'll write back to you, I promise. Chelsea, your cholesterol, no!